Hey guys, Dylan speaking, and welcome back. On today's episode, we'll be covering the mysterious disappearance of Brandon Victor Swanson. To learn more about Brandon's case and other unsolved disappearances, please visit our website, creepyunsolved.com. Let's begin. Tuesday, May 13th, 2008. was a day of celebration for 19-year-old Brandon Swanson and his classmates at Minnesota West Community and Technical College. Brandon, along with hundreds of other students, had just finished their first year of college, and well, a celebration was in order. That's exactly how Brandon planned on spending the rest of his day. Brandon spent that evening of May 13th catching up with friends, classmates, and celebrating their achievements, as well as discussing what was ahead of them. According to those who were in attendance that night, Brandon wasn't intoxicated at all, and in fact, he had only one shot of whiskey throughout the whole party. Between 10:30 p.m. and 11 p.m., Brandon left the party and drove to a friend's house in Canby, Minnesota, to say goodbye to a classmate. After saying his goodbyes, Brandon hopped into his own car sometime after midnight. Brandon's case alone is full of bizarre happenings and inconsistencies, and this just so happens to be the first one. At around 1:15 a.m., Brandon called his friends to ask for help. His car had become stuck in a ditch. Now, according to Google Maps, the Minnesota 68 eastbound takes between 33 and 43 minutes from Canby to Marshall. So why was Brandon out on the road so late? It's possible that witnesses got their times mixed up, hence why Brandon was out past 1 a.m. None of Brandon's friends answered their phones. Presumably, they were sleeping off the alcohol or partying too hard to hear their phones at all. Then there is a 30-minute gap before Brandon calls his parents to let them know what is going on and that he needs help. Bizarrely, Brandon tells his parents that he is somewhere between Lind and Marshall. According to Google Maps, Lind is southeast of Marshall, and none of the routes that Brandon would have driven from Canby to Marshall took him anywhere near Lind. So that begs the question, why was Brandon in Lind? His parents later arrived at his location, only to find no sign of their son. His mother, Annette, called him saying, "We're flashing our lights. We're flashing our lights," after the pair had agreed to flash their headlights so that they could locate each other in the dead of the night. On the other end of the phone, Brandon says, "Don't you see me?" But neither party could see each other, adding an air of confusion to the event. In a now found fit of frustration, Brandon hangs up on his mother and presumably keeps flashing his headlights and looking out for his parents. Annette, now worried and also frustrated, calls Brandon back, and the pair exchange apologies for their rash words. It is now at this point that Brandon abandons the idea of being picked up at his car at all and tells his parents that he would meet them at a nearby tavern in Lind. It is also at this time that he tells his parents not to worry at all, because he could see the lights from Lind, and he knew that he was getting close. Brandon then speaks to his father, Brian, and told him that he was taking a shortcut through a field, along a gravel road, and near a source of running water to get there faster. The full conversation between father and son is unknown, but we can only assume that they talked about Brandon's walk and the festivities of the night before. At around 47 minutes into this call, Brandon shouts out, "Oh shit!" before the call mysteriously goes dead. This is when panic set in for Brian and Annette, and they contacted Brandon's friends to help them search for their missing son. All night they drove up and down Lind, desperately looking for Brandon, but to no avail. By 6:30 a.m., the Swansons contacted the Lynn Police Department to file a missing persons report, only to be told, at his age, he had the right to be missing. The Lynn Police Department were less than cooperative with the Swansons and delayed the search for Brandon because they believed he was probably still out partying. With hours now passed and Brandon still not making contact with his family, the Lynn Police Department decided to take his disappearance seriously and began their own search. They had wasted precious time in Brandon's case by brushing him off as yet another teen out partying. Brandon's phone records show that his phone had last pinged in Porter, which is along the Minnesota 68 eastbound between Canby and Marshall. Porter is around 25 miles from Lynn, and to this day, we still do not know why Brandon told his parents that he was in Lynn. Brandon may have gotten confused after crashing his car, or is there something more sinister at play here? On the afternoon of May 14, 2008, Brandon's car was discovered, with Lincoln County Sheriff Jack ViCAP telling CNN it was off the side of a field and the vehicle was hung up. It's sort of a sharp incline and nothing major, but enough that the car would have got hung up so the wheels were too high off the ground to get any traction. A later examination of the scene found nothing out of the ordinary, and there were no prints left behind to help them figure out where exactly Brandon had gone. At first, investigators thought that Brandon could have fallen into the Yellow Medicine River. In some sections, the river is almost 15 meters deep and is fast flowing. Search dogs were called in to examine the area, and according to Jack ViCAP, the dogs alerted to the fact that Brandon was indeed in the water, but as the days passed, there was no sign of Brandon or his belongings. ViCAP told CNN the only thing that would have been if someone was in the shadows, and they got him that way. I can't say that there wasn't someone else there, but I can't find any evidence of it. I can't explain why clothing, belongings, wouldn't surface. I can't explain why after searching for 3 weeks the dogs could not smell anything. Investigators have spent years traversing the banks of the Yellow Medicine River and the surrounding areas, but so far come up empty-handed. Over 122 square miles have been searched, yet there is no sign of Brandon. Brandon's parents don't believe that he drowned and suspect that their son is victim of foul play. Although Brandon Swanson never got to finish his second year of college, he does leave behind a powerful legacy that will help other missing people. On July 1st, 2009, Brandon's law became effective in Minnesota thanks to the tireless campaign of his mother Annette and father Brian. Brandon's law requires authorities to conduct a preliminary investigation without delay when a missing persons report is received. Without answers, we are simply left to theorize. The main theory is that Brandon fell into the Yellow Medicine River and either drowned or made it out alive, dying soon after to hypothermia. Even in May, the temperatures in Minnesota can plummet quickly, and if you're not wearing suitable clothing, hypothermia can quickly set in. Many people, including Brian's parents, don't believe that he fell into the Yellow Medicine River at all, and believe that foul play was involved. Reddit user Dun17 commented on a thread in Unresolved Mysteries in 2009. Interesting to see how many people still talk about Brandon to this day. I actually currently live in Marshall and grew up in this area. It's pretty much known locally that this wasn't some alien encounter. The story goes around here that Brandon owed a lot of money for his trucks that he either worked on or purchased. Many believe that he got what was coming to him. I actually work with his third cousin's boyfriend, and the legend goes that his body was buried in concrete in a church in South Dakota, but that was a stretch in my opinion. I do believe though that this was some sort of payback for what Brandon may or may not have done, though I can't be sure. There is no way of validating this information provided by some random Reddit user, although it is an interesting theory and gives a possible insight to how foul play may be involved in Brandon's case. Other people who have looked at Brandon's case believe it may be a case of alien abduction or something otherworldly, but there has been no evidence provided to support any of these theories. Over 13 years later, 19-year-old Brandon Swanson still remains missing. Brandon is described as a white male with brown hair and blue eyes. He stands at 5 foot 6 inches tall and weighs between 100 and 125 pounds. He also has pierced ears. He was last seen wearing blue jeans, a white or black hat, twisted to the side, and a white short-sleeved shirt. If you have any information, you are urged to contact the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office at 507-694-1664 or FBI ViCAP on 1-800-634-4097, or you can send an email to ViCAP, ViCAP @leo.gov. That is it for this episode. Thank you for listening. I look forward to reading your theories. If you have a future episode suggestion, or you would like to reach me directly, you can do so by sending an email to creepyunsolvedmedia@gmail.com. This is Dylan signing off.